Hey y'all, what's going on? I just wanted to take a moment and kind of speak to a thought that I had or have been having um, regarding just for the last few years or so, it's kind of really been buy black, and just keeping the black dollar in the black community, and I think that's great. I think that's awesome, and I just wanted to kind of share and speak to just some of the things that really translates to, and what and how that benefits our community. Um, for instance, when you talk about it, not only benefits our community, but it really solves some of the problems within our community. Especially when you talk about buying black. So what does that translate to? On one hand, yeah, the consumer, they get a good product, but also that business owner, that black business owner, now has more capital, right? So now they can produce more products, right? And so if that continues to happen, that business will then grow, right? And so with that business growing, they'll need more human capital, which means they'll employ more people. And statistically, people tend to know um, um, and deal with people of their own race, by and large, if you will. So, like, yeah, we all might have friends from different ethnic groups, different cultures, but by and large, our family members, our friends and social groups tend to represent our own ethnic background. In a lot of cases, there are some different cases for different peoples, or special cases, if you will, but by the majorities, our friends and family members usually look like us. And what that means is, we would, as we grow, as that business owner grow, because now we're buying black in herds versus the few people that really intentionally, consistently buy black. Now this business is growing. Now they need more human capital, which means they now employ more black people, which means they employ those black family members and friends who can't find jobs at white institutions for whatever reason, be it because of past, or be it because or be it because of whatever the case may be. But yeah, who cannot find jobs in those particular institutions. These black businesses will not employ those people, right? And so when these businesses now be in a position to employ these people, now more black people are working, more black people are providing for their families, and it is not. And then on top of which, we're not even going to talk about the environment of work. Prior to my current line of work, which I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I worked in corporate America. I worked in sales for two of the largest cereal producing companies in the nation. And in that was, I mean, I have no gripes about either one of those companies as it relates to any real racial things or anything like that. So that's not what this is. But what I will say is that there's a climate in these organizations that, as black people, we have to maneuver through. And you can if you could just imagine being able to work for a black employer that has black employees by the mass. They're not just speckled within the organization, but they're in positions of power, right? And so to be able to have a culture essentially in the workplace where it is welcoming. There's not that tension, that wondering if they're cool enough for me to really be myself. And again, that's not a slight against white people. It's just cultural differences, really, in that regard, right? And so or them trying to touch your hair because they, for the woman, I mean, because it grew 10 inches overnight or something like that, or wow, or you know what I'm saying. But but that's what that really translates to. And then also you think about our communities and things like that. Well, if these black businesses that are now growing because black people are intentionally and consistently spending their money with them, the people that they're employing are now going to improve the places that they're living in. They're now going to improve their communities and the surrounding places, and they're going to be empowered to then make other moves as well. I think one thing that we as black people do and have done, it's not just on us being in our current generation, but um, we give too much praise or too much acknowledgement, right, to what do I want to say, recognition from uh the popular race, if you will, or the white race, if you will, right? And what I mean by that is you kind of give them the power when you allow them to select uh just your best and brightest here and there. When, for instance, we know that if a lot of black people are looking for a particular uh position within a job, history shows or statistics shows that a lot of them won't be qualified for whatever. I mean, a lot of them won't get the position for whatever reason, right? And dang, I lost my thought for a second. But what I mean is, right, so a lot of them won't get the job. And why is that? That's because they're able to pick and choose which one of you. And I don't mean necessarily by qualification or with even just cause, right? Whereas um, it could just be that, self-preservation. Again, that's not wrong. Like, I don't necessarily, I'm not one that gets mad at some of the things white people do, right, to essentially self-preservation, right? So to limit you in their businesses, that's self-preservation, so that I can spare these positions for the people that look like me, for my grandchildren, and the people that come after me, right? The thing to do is not necessarily to get so mad. It's to take just see what they're doing and be like, oh, maybe I should incorporate and do some of these things within my own neighborhood, within my own community, within myself. It's very uh, damaging to the community, in the sense, even when we go out and get jobs by and far in white society. And what I mean by that, it's not necessarily that white people are bad or white people are evil or not like that. It's not that. When in business, they call employees human capital, right? And what that essentially is to infer is that, laborers or people that work for you bring a certain value, capital meaning, money or something that you can leverage. Um, and you leverage labor. So your position at your job, I don't care if you're a secretary, your position has a dollar value to that company, and it's more than what your salary is. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to afford to pay you your salary, benefits, or any other things that they're able to do. And it's enough to pay your salary plus some, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be business. And so when we go and work for these companies, we're giving away wealth. Because if you were to do that for a black company, or whatever company, I'll do this for black people because I'm black. But if you from a different race and you listening to this, because this is not necessarily race specific or specific to any race, I'm just using my race because that's the race that I'm most vested in, that I give a damn about, right? And so what I'm saying is that when you go to these other companies and you work for them, you improve them, you bring value to them, and naturally so, because you're educated, you're smart, and it's assumed that you know what you're doing. And so, but if you were to take that same or take yourself and go work for a then black company, they're going to grow from the benefits of having you and your intelligence and everything that you have to provide and offer, and then grow, and then also open the door for more people to look like you. And it's not such a fight, to bring in and open doors for people to look like you. I think we have put too much value on acceptance from other cultures and other races. Like, we would rather be accepted by them than to have our own. And that is, the proof is in the pudding. It has left us where we are economically, for certain. And a lot of the problems that we have, when traced back, go back and are rooted in our economic state. When you talk about police brutality, when you talk about underfunding in schools, when you talk about women being taken advantage of, when you talk about all these things, you talk about our males over incarcerated, and underemployed. A lot of that goes back to basic economic principles. If we had an economic base where we had our own businesses to employ our workforce. We could support ourselves in the workforce. That way, we're not begging, in a sense, to white employers or trying to appeal to them to hire us, especially in situations where you're qualified. If we had more black business owners, you would be more likely to get a position. You would be more likely not to be unemployed or not to be in a position where you're looking for your next dollar. And I think it's very important that we understand that. Like we've been doing what we've been doing for a very long time, and it has not bared us any fruit, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like our condition has been the same. There's a very select few of us that get chosen and selected to ascend, and things like that, and that's going to be entertainers in more cases than not. Like you think about black culture, you think about the most successful people you're thinking about, or you that come to mind, or the most wealthiest people that come to mind, entertainers. And that's unfortunate. Versus you think about um some rich white folks, you're gonna think of some business owners. I guarantee you're gonna think of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, or Bill Gates, Tom Cook, or Tim Cook, whatever buddy name is. Um, like, think about that, let that set in, and you think about how many careers, how many jobs those people have been able to create for their culture, and in so much in abundance, so that other people of other cultures and nationalities are able to become employed as well. But you think about what they were able to do through business and through their people supporting their business so that they could grow, or and support could be shopping, support could be investing. And I mean, of course, that takes vetting and having a firm understanding of what you're getting into. I'm not telling you to give your money to somebody or anything like that without research, but just knowing the importance of black businesses, their roles in our community, and how it is imperative that we as a people make them thrive. um, it is I don't know how to even convey it. It is solely connected and deeply connected to our survival and our progress. Um, it goes hand in hand, so to speak, with with black businesses growing, with them employing more black people. We can build our own schools. We can really have communities instead of hoods. We can have neighborhoods and communities. Uh, and I would also challenge a lot of black people who have a lot of these skills to start businesses. Granted, now everybody's not set out to be a business owner or anything like that. But I would, if you're not and you know you're talented, I would find organizations, black organizations, that could use your skills. If you are business minded, then I would challenge you to start a business. If that's something that you desire to do, and feel that you could do it successfully. Um, but it's very important. And if you are shopping black, are buying black, another thing that we have to do, um, both on the consumer side and the business owner side, we gotta carry ourselves a lot differently. Business owners, we gotta be more accountable about customer service. I mean, if you work in these white businesses, take that experience. I mean, if you ever, I bet I got a call, but if you ever worked at these white businesses, take that experience and apply it, if to what you're trying to do. If you're gonna go out here and run a business, for instance, I don't know about you, but every organization that I worked at before I was, worked for myself, customer service was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, even that saying that I don't necessarily agree with, but the customer's always right. But yeah, we got to be there for our customers. We got to show up on time. We got to be prompt. We got to do quality work or present a quality product, and be on top of that. And likewise, as customers, we have to be just as understanding we are when McDonald's gets our order wrong 10,000 times. Like, but you keep going back there though. But a black business, does something or whatever, and you have no understanding. Like, we got to change that, and we have to be more patient with one another in business and in otherwise. Like, we have such a cancel culture, and that's very dangerous, and it will leave you isolated. Like, yeah, you should never keep people around or anything around that is wrong to you or whatever, or mistreating you, right? I'm not saying that, but at the same time, You got to be able to manage certain things and also have realistic expectations and be able to work with people even in situations of discomfort or where you might have feel you've been wrong. If that person is someone of respect and someone willing to correct their wrongs or wanting to correct their wrongs, allow that to happen. You know, and so that's just something we could do with one another, giving each other grace, giving each other deference, to be able and just loving each other. Like y'all talking black love, like you can't just be cutting the family off, at every just hiccup and mistake. Like loving it and healing, all that shit go hand in hand, and so just got to be mindful of that stuff, y'all. I just wanted to just kind of touch on those things, like you gotta buy black, you gotta be black all the time and in everything that we do, because our survival is really counts on it. Like we talk about not having opportunities. It's because we won't start our own, and we just keep knocking on the door, asking them let us in, instead of creating our own. And it's easy, like I mean, in the sense of America's not perfect by any means, but your ability to go out and do some shit and create something, to create a legacy or something for your family, that shit is wide the fuck open. And so, um, I would urge you to take advantage, to exploit the fact that you live in America, and that possibility is true. Like, yeah, I think that's very, 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 very important. That we come together, that we start shopping with one another, that we start providing services to and for one another, and I mean other people as well. Like, right, but I'm saying that it's important that we go out of our way to create businesses and to support those businesses that we need to create, um, because it would alleviate just so many problems. These young kids out here, you talk about violence and things like that. Like I said again, so many things are just connected to the economics. Like a lot of these people selling, if it's drugs or whatever the case may be, because there's no other options. Like you think about a child, I don't know, a baby that wakes up like, oh yeah, let me go rob, murder, kill, or whatever to make it in life. Nah, it's because this is the environment that has been, that I've been born into, and there's no opportunities for those that have been before me, so they've turned to this, for whatever reason. And so if you can provide a way to, and you talk about getting money, right? Well, owning a business, an asset, is one of, comparing it to, they want, whether, being in drugs or something like that, being more attractive or being more lucrative. I know billionaires in business doing well, but versus a cartel as a whole being worth billions. I mean, that's a big difference, right? And so I just elevate your thinking, and to give these people, our people, if our children, other opportunities. We need to create those opportunities. How, trying to open white doors for more black people is a very hard thing, as we have seen time and time again. And to white people, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing from the standpoint of preserving and accelerating your race. Like, why wouldn't you? I would do this if I was in a position of power. I probably would be a little partisan to black people. I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably would, let a few more of us in. Like, I'm just saying, and I don't. That's what you're supposed to do if you Mexican. It's the same thing. If whatever the case may be. That's like the thing is not to sit there and complain. It's to go build your fucking own. And I wish that we, and I don't want to offend anybody by saying this, right, because certain words have a negative connotation, but I talk straight, and so I just wish we didn't have such a victim approach or a victim attitude when it comes to our problems and possible solutions. So many times we want to ask for change, we want to beg, or even do things that don't require a lot of work, from us. It takes work to start business. It takes work to intentionally go out of your way to buy black. It takes work to do those things, versus and asking for a handout. And I'm not talking about anybody individually, naturally. I'm just saying as a whole, this is the things we tend to do when it comes to solving our problems. And I get it. We didn't create our problems. We didn't create the situation that we live in. but we can't depend on them to fix it for us, even if they had a hand in putting us in this situation. Uh, yeah, we can't. Like, nah. Or we will continue to be here. And I know everybody's frustrated with that, right? Like, it's so much more that we could be doing for ourselves, to empower ourselves, to lift ourselves up, with so much value in us, and we must see that. And the sooner that we see that, the better off we'll be. Um, Trusting and loving one another, and what that really looks like. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna get up off here, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Uh, Share, comment, let me know how you feel, if you agree, if you disagree. Just yeah, tap in, and let's push the conversation. I'm open to all points of view. To a degree, I mean, I am, but at the same point, I'm open to hear your argument, and I'll put it like that. I'm open to hear your argument, but I'm very confident from where I stand. Um, but yeah, man, peace and love. Uh, See y'all soon.